welcome to
Thanks,
HG
Patty.
Fundraising free webinar series. This is episode 141. So
Yeah.
excited about it. Thank you all for coming. If you're watching online live, please see the Q&A down below. We've also got the chat feature open. Feel free to say hello. If you're watching this on a recording, please do us a solid favor. Any comments, anything that you agree, disagree, anything feedback you have, please leave that down in the comments. We do look at that. So you're seeing that as well. And then also, we ask for a simple thing. If you are seeing this on recording, please give us a like, subscribe. It really just helps the readership to get out there. And if you do, the fee we have is if you got anything out of this today, share it with another nonprofit professional. We really ask that you would do that. That's the only thing we ask for. We don't try to make a lot of advertising. We don't obviously sell advertisement on this. We don't even talk about our stuff very much.
Maybe we should in
So
2024. Maybe we should.
yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we're gonna just make it one big infomercial. I don't know. But I'm really excited about today. So some of you may or may not know, but our company, HGA Fundraising, the H stands for honor. We want to honor all of our clients and their missions. G is for gratitude, and A is for advancement. We want to advance the missions. But we're going to focus on gratitude today because I think it's something that we take for granted, gratitude, what people think or say.
Yeah.
And when I am so proud to introduce we couldn't have anybody better come on than my partner, Trevor Nelson. My name is Jason Ledlow, by the way. And Trevor is our ambassador of gratitude. Literally, that's his moniker title. What we have for him is he's the ambassador of gratitude for our company. And the reason I think it's awesome for him because ever since I've known him, he has always been very gracious, always filled with gratitude, always happy. Doesn't matter what it is. He's just always expresses that. But here's the thing I think that sometimes we might miss. It's intentional. It is very intentional on his part. Now, I think it does come easy because he's just got a gracious heart. But I also think, and he's going to talk about those things today, about how you, as a nonprofit professional, can be more intentional with gratitude. And if I can just go for just a little bit longer here for just a second.
Please.
I'm talking about gratitude within your personal life, gratitude in your professional life, gratitude with your coworkers, your staff, your board members, your donors, and then that external as an organization out to the donor and the community of gratitude to be those things. Because that's what he really does for us, and he keeps us on point. And it's because of that, it makes me to be more great. Because I sometimes fall into this, and I think we all do. I assume, well, of course they know that I appreciate them. Of course they know.
Yep.
But it's still not a substitute for the thank you.
Yeah.
And he has a wonderful statement, and I'm going to let him just go. It's always the right time to say thank you. It's always the right move to say thank you.
Yeah.
And so I think that leads us up. So Trevor, just there you go.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate everybody being here. I love this subject, and I'm a student of gratitude. That's how I look at it. And so I've jotted down a bunch of notes because I love this subject. And, Jay, we anchored the growth of our company and how we interact with people on our team and all the organizations that we have the privilege of working with and folks that we interact with on the webinars and what have you. We anchored the growth of our company with gratitude. That's really how I feel. And what's from a personal perspective, I anchored my personal life simultaneously with my professional life. I anchored it with all my relationships with gratitude, and it was intentional. And so I do think that it's definitely something that can be, you can grow gratitude in your life, but with any kind of growth, it's going to take, exercise and intention and, like you say, being deliberate about it. And I don't think there's much that really needs to change when it comes to being grateful and gracious to those in your personal life and your professional life, because you can be the same. And I love what you said about saying thank you. Folks are always saying, hey, how do I exercise more gratitude, and how do I get folks to know that I feel that way and I'm grateful? And I always say, and I could be wrong, just something that we adopted was start with thank you. And I say, listen, it's like we were talking about like, oh, they know I appreciate them and stuff like that. And it's like, well, do they? And more and more and more, and we're gonna have a guest on next week talking about gratitude. It's a two-part series. More and more and more people, especially donors, but definitely folks in your personal life that you're around all the time, they crave it. They actually crave it. They want to be thanked more and more. And that really moves the needle for folks when you're talking about, and I'm speaking just once again in parallels. You need to be the same in your personal life as you are in your professional life with expressing this kind of gratitude. It's only going to end up benefiting you and everyone around you, because it's visceral. People feel it, and they definitely know once they're aware that you're grateful. They definitely know when they haven't heard it. And so I always say things like, well, no news is good news. It's like my wife knows that I'm grateful that she folded the towels. And it's like, well, does she? You know what I mean? We spent a lot of time together, and there is zero question in my mind that the growth of our company and how I feel about life has taken a very, very sharp, top to the right trajectory over the last, 8 years that I've been with my wife. But I kind of I start there. I start with the people that are closest to me in expressing gratitude, and then once I realized that was my equity, um, it just, it does come naturally to me, but it superseded into everything that we do professionally to the point of that's what we named the company, after that's what, the G, and it's been such a lovely, lovely journey, and it's unfinished. It's a story that's unfinished because, once you adopt this discipline in your life, every single day, it's, the gifts that are going to come to you as a result. I know that you need to do this without any expectation, but I'm a believer, and I'm the best client of gratitude right now. I'm not, so it's just been such a fun journey, like I said, and it's unfinished. So I wanted to talk about, like I said, I'm a student of gratitude and what it means, and I got a few things to say. And you know, we can all agree that exercising more gratitude is good. I mean, that's just obviously it's a buzz. I know it gets tossed around a lot on the internet, depending on where what you're paying attention to and things of that nature. But it can't be spoken of enough because of how it makes people feel when it's genuine, and when it's real. And I think a lot of times we get caught up in day to day, and life is moving so fast. I believe that I'm an optimist, and that ties into gratitude. I believe that people are naturally good-hearted. That's just how I view the world. I'm not a cynic at all, on the antithesis of that. And I don't question that about people. I believe, once again, people are inherently good. But we get moving so fast, and we get ourselves into a place where maybe we're in a position professionally that we don't want to be, or maybe we're in a relationship that we don't want to be in, or whatnot. And even when that's the case, you put yourself there. So there's gratitude breeds accountability, and vice versa, And we put ourselves in these positions, but a lot of times we get moving so fast that, we start looking at things as obligations versus opportunities, and looking at things and moments in the day and people that you get to interact with, donors, people in your professional life, colleagues, the whole nine. Having those interactions are opportunities, not obligations. And so I'm gonna go ahead and start the framework there as a great way to look at things that you look at through your lens daily. It- you know, Opportunity versus obligation, and just the opportunity to be in the position that you're in. And I said something silly the other day on a podcast where I was like, hey, listen, I started out sweeping the floor at the parents' restaurant as a kid. But you and I talk about this all the time, being consistent. And if I'm going to be a floor sweeper, then I'm going to be the best damn floor sweeper there is. And that's an opportunity. And I'm grateful for it. And it sounds like a silly example, but it's true. And then, of course, all things being equal, as we grow, in 6 months, I'm probably not going to be sweeping the floor, but I'm grateful for the opportunity that got me there, and I'll never forget it. And
But
like,
I,
go ahead.
I want to just I want to interject something real quick,
Yeah.
and I think this kind of, because I was thinking about this, and just as you're talking about this idea, this gratitude, you cannot be gracious and unhappy at the same time.
It doesn't work in the brain. It literally
Now, yeah,
physiologically does not work.
and I want to say this, that doesn't mean that you can be unhappy and not be gracious. That's those two, that's not the way it works. But if when you show gratitude, even if you don't feel like it, okay, this is not a feeling, this is an action. But if you do that, the feelings follow. So I guess that's one, and I don't, I'm no psychologist or psychiatrist
Yeah.
or anything like that. I'm just a human, out here practicing life,
Yep.
and figure it out. But it's something that I thought about is when I'm practicing gratitude and I'm doing those things, I can't help but just be happy.
Yeah.
Whether it's I'm in the checkout line and I'm saying thank you to Elizabeth who just checked me out, and she had 14 different things going on wrong for her, and it wasn't scanning, it wasn't moving through, and the machine wasn't going, and she had to turn the light on 3 times. But I'm just happy that she was there to check me out.
Yeah.
And when I show that gratitude, it completely changes my attitude. So instead of being ticked off and frustrated and walking out the door and why did she waste my time, I'm just happy that I had somebody there to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it's
I think,
amazing that how those little things, that practicing,
yeah.
go into the big part, which is you're going to get to, and that's why we're
Yeah.
here, for
Yeah.
showing gratitude. But
You're talking
first,
about being intentional about it and being disciplined about it. You know what I
well, yeah,
mean?
I just
Yeah.
think that we get so, and I say we as individuals, and this is just our day and time. We get so zoned in on ourselves and how I
Yes.
feel and what I think and what's going on in my bubble, that I cannot, unless I'm intentional, to see what's going on around me. And there's so many things to be grateful for.
Hmm.
On the very worst day, the fact that, my very worst day, I'm at least grateful for that the sun came up and I'm breathing in and out.
Yeah. You got clean drinking water.
Yeah,
You're
well,
around good
I mean,
people that love you. Yeah.
I'm not even talking about quality. It's just the fact that I'm breathing in and out. Okay, it's
Yep.
going to be a good
Yep.
day. I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for life
Yep.
and what I can do. And so I guess, and I'm not, perfect by any means. There's times I wake up and I'm grumpy and don't want to do anything, and I don't want to go to the gym, and I don't want to come to work, and I don't want to do all those things. And quite frankly, I don't have anybody holding me accountable a lot of times until I get this call from, "Hey, bro, what's going on, man? Hey, guys, what's going?" And I get that, and all of a sudden, it's a changing deal.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
but how many times am I that person?
Yeah.
Who am I that person to? So I guess that's where I'm kind of saying it becomes it's all, we're not cultists by any means, but it's a lifestyle.
It's
It's a
100%. It's a choice.
lifestyle.
It's a
Yeah.
state. It's a state of mind. It's a choice. And you can rely on yourself and be your biggest advocate for gratitude. You
Mhm.
can do things like not get out of bed until you're right. You know what I mean? Until you have that talk with yourself. I people say it's cliche, but people say have a gratitude journal. Hey, listen, write down what you're grateful for before you even, get out of bed. Have the journal right by your, right by your bed on the table. Turn the light on, write down what you're grateful for, and I guarantee you it will help your state of mind when you wake up. Even if you wake up and you're in a house by yourself, it will elevate your state of mind. And like you said, there's so much going on. We get so inwardly focused because hey, let's face it, we're all super busy. You could be running a multi-million dollar nonprofit, a multi-million dollar company, or not at all. You still have a lot of people pulling at you. I call it plumbing. There's a ton of plumbing coming in. There's a big pipe coming in of all the stuff and all the, things that you responsibilities you have and things that people are calling you for. And the plumbing that goes out does not match, no matter what you do. Now you can make it move easier by exercising gratitude and joy and optimism and things like that. I wanted to give an example. It's very interesting because I was talking about, once again, the difference between opportunity and obligation and just a mindset shift with folks. So when we started out, Jason, you know this really, really well. I would have, like, if we had any negative customer service, which it wasn't never that bad, actually, in hindsight, I
Mhm.
wore it. I had a very unhealthy relationship with a company because I wore everything and I got on the roller coaster of emotions. I was very emotionally attached to everything that happened because we have one reputation. You only get one. You know what I mean? And I was grateful for every relationship that we were able to start early on. And it's a very noble enterprise running a nonprofit and serving others. It's a very noble enterprise starting a company and serving people and having employees and serving clients. I believe in that in my soul, that there's nobility there, but it can be unhealthy sometimes. And I made a shift. Like if I got I love this idea of like, I we get a negative cuss. Oh my gosh, the sky is falling in the subject line of an email, which is always how those things come, right? Well, I would respond when I started training myself and I got around people like Jason Moore and listening and being coachable about what that really, really meant and how easily it could be fixed typically just with some, sanity and reason, and that and nothing was too big. I would change the subject line from, oh my gosh, the sky is falling, to RE colon, thank you, and the first name of the person that was reaching out to us. So I immediately shifted it from an obligation, which of course I had to fix it, to an opportunity to connect and to be, and it was so crazy. I started looking at it as an opportunity and I was grateful for it because it made me grow. Like I created that discipline, within myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a muscle. I get to exercise and I actually feel better. My stomach would hurt when those emails would come in. Like I'd be physically ill and not throwing up, but
Well,
you get my point.
I know that he would be because he would call me.
Yeah,
Oh
exactly.
my gosh,
Hey,
I got
hey, get
this.
on the roller
Oh, what's
coaster with
going
me,
on?
man. Get on the roller coaster. Yeah, yeah,
Like,
we'll have fun.
what are you talking about? I
Yeah.
said, okay, well,
So,
not that big a deal.
so
Let's
do
go.
me a favor. I know what my answer is, everybody. If I could ask everybody listening, and even if you're going to be watching this as a recording later, can you do me a favor? Can you tell me in your thought just a one word description or multiple one word descriptions of what do you think the opposite of gratitude is? I think this is a really, really fun exercise. I have my thoughts. Jason alluded to one of them already about anger, because you cannot be gracious and grateful and angry at the same time.
Happy is what I said, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can't be
Happy,
too
grateful,
angry. Indifferent.
indifference. Okay. Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah. Anything else that's, you might nail it. We might be in lockstep. I might see something that I didn't even realize, but tell me in your thoughts, if you don't mind sharing with us, do me a favor. Don't be afraid. Self-centered. Yeah. Yeah. What's the opposite of gratitude? And this is a really, really cool exercise. I'll give it like another few seconds just to give us some thoughts, if you don't mind. If nothing comes to you, I'll share mine with you. Well, I'm probably going to do that anyway, actually, because I have the microphone. I'm grateful for the microphone. So let's use indifference. Can you be indifferent and grateful at the same time? No, you can't. What's the opposite of indifference? Intention, care, concern. I mean, genuine concern. That's the opposite. That's typically the antithesis. So you can be grateful and be caring at the same time. Can you be self-centered and grateful at the same? No, you cannot. Thanks for sharing, Bev. You cannot. You cannot be self-centered and so self-absorbed. You can do things that are good for you. You can exercise and be grateful for the body and the heart that you have and the mind that you have, and and what you have available to you to move about in the world, you know, but you can't be self-centered,
Can you
and
be can you be mad and show gratitude?
you cannot be angry and show gratitude at the same
Are you
time. And
sure?
you
Are
can,
you sure? Are you sure?
well, embellish a little bit. Give me
I'm just
context.
challenging. I'm just
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah.
Well, because if you're mad, and
Hmm.
there's sometimes, you know what? It's just it's anger, mad. It's just
Yeah.
something you just get. It's an emotion. We all have it,
Yeah.
and you can't do it.
Well, I
And
also was,
my question, where my question is
yeah.
if you're in that situation, because there's sometimes I get something that comes across my emails or desk or something that
Yeah.
some call I get, and my deal is I'm not really happy about it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want. It kind of ticks me off.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because I have bought in to the
The mindset.
intentional gratitude,
Yeah.
showing this to be always be gracious, it changes instantly. And as soon as I switch that on, and so you're not wrong, is what I'm saying. You can't be
Yes.
grateful, but you can make a decision to be grateful, even when you're in that alternate, the mad, sad, angry.
Absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely.
that's the point where this is something that it's not just external, it's so internal that it's what makes it work.
Yeah.
I guess that's where what I was
Yeah.
trying,
Yep.
express in some way. I can be ticked off and frustrated, but if I go, all right, Trevor, hey man, hey, I really appreciate you bringing this to my attention. I just thank you so much for letting me
Mhm.
know what's going on. And I completely changes by the time I'm done making those few statements. That anger I had is dissipated. It's gone. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
exactly. Yeah, anger's a feeling.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
It is. It's an
said,
emotion.
Bev
No,
said
no
anger's
question.
a feeling, and it is.
Yeah.
So I have to put my feelings aside and practice very practical things and change it, because I could sit there and go, you know what? I don't really have time to listen to your crap. I don't want to hear it. Don't need to hear it.
Right.
I got things to do, whatever. But that's not going to get anywhere. All that does is fuel that. But gratitude turns everything around.
No question. Yeah, it steers the ship. It steers the ship, and the wind, it gets the wind in the sails. I brought up this question for a couple reasons because I wanted to get some interaction. Another thing, I actually think just because I felt it and I'm on this journey and the book is not completely written, you know what I mean, about gratitude, how much it's meant in my life. And I see how much it's meant in the lives of those around me and who I get to interact with. And the response that I've gotten, I feel like I'm playing with house money. Like I've got this winning golden ticket, this that I cash in daily. And I brought up the question because I don't like talking about negative emotions and things like that very often, even though they're very real and they're going to enter your life inevitably. I really feel like gratitude is a pathway to reaching your true potential. And you can say a lot of things. You can say discipline, work ethic, exercise, fantastic, being kind, giving. I know you are all, everyone on this, everyone listening, everyone watching, Jason, we are all kind, giving souls because of what we do for a living. I know that. I actually think that there's more. And I'm once again a student of this gratitude mindset. And I think that it's the true path to unlocking your potential. Now, what will get in your way? And I just jotted down fear. Fear gets in your way. Can
Mm-hmm.
you be fearful and gracious and grateful at the same time? I don't think that you can. I don't think that you can. And fear stops us a lot from reaching our potential. And I call it taking the plunge and betting on ourselves and all this. But you cannot be grateful and fearful at the same time. And the other one, I we get this a lot. Stressed, stressful, always stressing. What's the next? When's the shoe gonna drop? Anticipating the next obligation as opposed to opportunity that's going to come down the pipe just because of how you look at things and how you're viewing the world in that moment in the state that you're in mentally. You cannot be stressed out and grateful at the same time and succumb to those things and be grateful at the same time. Now, what is the antithesis and what's, of fear and stress and anger? Joy, optimism. You can be joyful and grateful at the same time. That's where it's bred from. Optimism and grateful at the same because I'm looking forward to the future. That's a mindset. That's a state change. And I wrote down for me what's, and Jason knows how much I believe in this. And, I've been writing about it for a bit. My number one rule is to be kind to everyone because you never know who you're talking to. And that's exactly how we started the company. That's how we interact with everyone. I think kindness could be step one. Jason was talking about the clerk at the checkout stand. Being kind to that person is being grateful for the opportunity to interact and how much that means to that person, how good it's going to make you feel. Because there's what's it they call it, the oxytocin, the chemical that courses through your body when you hug someone, when you're kind to someone and you can see the reaction. So I start with kindness. I really, really do. I think I say being grateful means being kind to everyone, especially yourself. Because if you're being kind to yourself, you're ready. You're charging yourself up to be grateful to the outside world, to be grateful for the opportunities that are coming your way and not looking at them as obligations.
Yeah.
So I really like starting there. And listen, it comes very simple. It comes very easily to me. It always has.
Well, let's talk about that for just a second.
Yeah,
Let's just say that it doesn't come easy. Let's just say
exactly.
that
Yep.
it's just
Yep.
not something in your deal. What are some practical things? I can think of a couple that I've used to get things going. But what are a couple of things that you can do from a practical standpoint to get to on your journey of gratitude? Because I know everybody's here, and just so understand, we're going to talk about gratitude with your clients and nonprofits and how you get out to your donors. It's all coming, but without this baseline of understanding,
Hmm.
the rest of it doesn't really make sense. It's kind of vacant and void
Hmm.
of the true meaning. So I think this is really good, Trevor. So what are some practical things that you do, maybe when you're not, that, just in everyday interactions that you do? Because, and I'm going to give an example for everybody. When Trevor and I very first met several years ago, I was actually his client. Okay, the thing that what I appreciated, and it's why I wanted to do business with him. It didn't matter, and I was like, I didn't know this till later. I was his number one client, um, uh, but because that's how we actually started off. Is I would buy trips from him for other nonprofits, and so what he would do, if I would say, hey, look, I've got, I did, didn't matter if I said 10, 20, or one, the gratitude was the same every time. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Really sincerely. I mean, and I felt it. He sincerely meant it. And I wanted to do business with Trevor. Okay. I wanted to use his product. I wanted to do that because I knew that it didn't matter the size of the deal, whether it was, one trip or 25. He was just as great. His gratitude did not change. And that was a big lesson for me because I think maybe, and I don't want to admit this, but I'm going to do it right here on this national broadcast, coast to coast,
Yeah.
uh, 9 million watts of power here.
Yeah.
I think that I probably uh, set my level of gratitude based on what
Performance,
what performance and
volume.
what somebody
Yeah.
was doing. Oh, if you were down here, you gotta, hey, thanks a lot. If you're up here, oh wow, I really appreciate that. Up here, it has to really get that deal, and it changed everything for me.
Hmm.
And so I you know, just being, it didn't matter, like you said, it's just because it's the one thing that I have an unlimited supply of.
You can pull from that well. That well's as deep as you want to dig it. That's the truth, man. That
So
that
what
well
are
is
some other
deep.
practical things that, and if
Yeah.
if somebody has one, please share
Yeah,
it.
please.
We'll share it on the
Well,
deal.
yeah.
Um,
I
uh,
love that. I love that. I get a lot of juice from watching others. I get a lot of it's one thing for me. I've always done really, really, I've gotten a lot of um, like seeing how I don't like to do things. It's like that's not how I'm going to go about that. That's not how I'm going to treat people. I actually pull a lot from just from witnessing how others interact, and I go, I don't want to be like that because I saw how that made the other person feel. Um, I I love spending time with people and making them feel good, especially if I don't know them. And I'm not super corny, but it's like I'll
well,
get a cup of
practically,
coffee.
how do you do? So how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, time, time
Okay.
spending time with people, asking them something about themselves. What we're being self-centered, Bev, that was the antithesis in your eyes of gratitude or something that stops people from being more grateful. It's like, hey, I got my coffee, it's all about me, blah, blah, blah. It could be as simple as how are you today?
Hmm.
I'm grateful that you're here to help me. We get in these spots where it's like everyone works for you and everyone's serving you and all these things. And it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? So we talked at the onset. I start with thank you. I always start with thank you. It's always come really, really easy. And I do mean it. I really, really do. I thank my wife for handing me a coffee cup in the morning as opposed to just going, okay, do you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. It starts there, man. It starts there. And then it goes all the way, like you said, to our biggest client. We have a practice in our company where it doesn't matter how big or how small, like you said, the event was or how many items they moved or whatever, they're going to get a phone call and a thank you from us.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's real. We are grateful. You said, you were my best client. You could have done business with other people.
Oh
You have
yeah,
that,
for
you have
sure.
that right. No one owns clients, So we do business with and we interact with people that we like. People say a lot of times that we trust. Well, that's obvious. But people that we like. And, it doesn't mean that you have to get up in the morning and clap your hands and go, I want to be as likable as possible. If that doesn't come naturally to you, so be it, but you can still be grateful. I think spending time with people, I think saying the obvious. I always say it's like we go through this loop day in and day out, like it's Groundhog Day, like no news is good news. They know I appreciate them. They know. Well, tell them. Even, hey, listen, sometimes when you're talking to people that you really, really appreciate, it might be so difficult for you because I've had this experience where it made me tear up, where I have a hard time articulating it because I feel so it's such a strong emotion and feeling where I actually I like avoid it because I don't want to well up telling someone how much I appreciate them, like my wife or something, but that's what it
Well,
takes,
I'm going to
you
give a
know.
practical I'm going to give a practical example. We were
Yeah,
talking yesterday on the phone. I was telling you about something that I had done with one of our employees,
yeah,
and
I remember this.
I had told you earlier in the day, and you specifically called me and you said, "Hey, I want to just say thank you for doing that."
I
That
told
meant
you
a lot to
I
me.
told you yeah, I feel like I said I told you I feel like you always do the right thing,
Yeah,
and it means the world.
for Trevor, and when I say we talk all day, every day, it's like this all day long. I mean, we're
Yep.
just back and forth texting, talking, email, whatever. It's just it's nonstop. In fact, our wives are kind of sitting there going, "Okay,
Good
say
thing they get along too.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly." It's like, okay, you can put it down
yeah,
now.
yeah,
You're going to get to talk to it. You're going to get to play
yeah,
with him
yeah.
tomorrow.
It'll be Christmas tomorrow again.
And so we have this thing, and but it meant so much to me that my best friend, my business partner, a guy who I spend a lot of time with, even though we're 1,000 miles apart, just took the time to do that. That is really, really specific, and I think, but it's so appreciated from my standpoint because it meant a
Yep,
lot to me because I know that he meant it. But
yep,
he pointed something out that you could that he didn't have to. He didn't have to, and is it going to change our relationship? No, not at all. It's not like I'm sitting here going, "Hey, man, what do you say?" Thank. I know he's stuck with me. Okay, it's kind of like when he's talking about his wife. Yeah, she stuck with him. He stuck with her. I'm using that, in a silly way, but um, being around those people. We talk about the checkout line. I make a point to say the person's name every
yeah.
time. I always say, "Thank you,
I've seen you
John.
do this. Yeah, yeah,
Thank you, Elizabeth." I now sometimes the name's a challenge, and so I'm going to ask him, "Hey, how do you pronounce your name?" Because I want to know. That's why I love when they have name tag because I'll say their name every time. Every time. Good, bad, or little, short, tall, whatever, it does not matter. I always do it. And the reason that I do it is because, when you've passed by 75 people and they go, "Yeah, okay. Oh, thank you so much." Because they don't know my name unless they see it on the card or something. And they don't see it now because we all swipe it ourselves. Um, that really means a lot
yeah,
because, they're in the drawer of the day. They're checking out their 85th person for the day, and that might be a game changer for them.
yeah.
Wow, that gave them that lift. So those are just little things.
I think it
Pat,
breeds accountability. I think it breeds accountability, Jason.
mhm.
I think being grateful and exercising that muscle, so to speak, and that discipline and being outward with it and telling folks, no matter how uncomfortable it feels in the moment and how much you want to view it as a drain, maybe, or what have you. I think gratitude breeds accountability, and we can all use more of that. That's how I feel.
um,
Thanks for sharing,
so
Patty. Yeah,
yeah, Patty is obviously Patty is a um, ambassador of gratitude. I would
she really
say she
is. Yeah,
definitely gets that moniker. So let me just share this because this just comes to us and I'll share it with you guys. So she said, "When I walk my dog every day, I pick up trash to be kind to our environment and my neighborhood. Um, for my donors, I send gratitude notes 4 times a year, such as each year on the Tool Solstice dates. And in December, I deliver cookies to my legacy honorees, women who we are recognizing. During the week, in a National Cookie Day, December 4th, I send holiday cards to all the donors of any amount in December. These are just a few examples. And I think
love it.
that is really good because if you notice what she's doing, and Patty, thank you for sharing that.
Love that. Please,
That is
yeah. Anyone
intentional.
else, please, too.
It is intentional.
Yep. It's
And that's
planned. It's
where I say
planned gratitude. Yeah,
planned and intentional
yep,
gratitude.
yep.
See, the thing is, when we do these things and we plan them out and we do it, because if we just go based on emotion, and that's kind of where I wanted, that's where we're trying to go where Trevor's coming from. He's saying, this stuff comes, has come to him, but as a practical standpoint, as somebody who's not necessarily the super gratitude. I'm not the person that responds to every Facebook message. It goes, "Happy birthday, John. Happy birthday, Mary. Happy birthday, deal." I just that's not me.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not my thing. I don't do it as a natural. I don't have that natural proclivity for that. But when I decided to become a junior ambassador of gratitude, I took those actions, and it was a game changer for me. And that's where I want you guys to just understand if you're struggling with this, because I'm telling you, you are. Everybody does. There's Trevor has struggled with this stuff too, just like what he's talking about. He take all this on, and what do I do? Well, all of a sudden when you stopped and he changed that little thing and said thank you,
Changed everything.
it
Sounds so
changed
simple.
everything. He called, what is it you say? It interrupts the loop.
It abs I think that expressing gratitude and being happy to see people, I think that interrupts a loop with, once again with the checkout clerk that sees 75 people, and a lot of them might be grumpy, man, because they're
Oh
trapped in their own
yeah,
day. That doesn't mean they're not
I've seen them in
kind-hearted.
front of me,
Yeah.
and I've seen them behind me.
Yeah. It does interrupt. It changes everything. Because check this out. Let's do it. Like I got to get in the science of it and how it's perceived. You know, so someone sends me the negative customer service email in the subject line, and every time I respond and they respond, and everyone that's copied on it, they see the same thing over and over. And it could be even vitriolic. It's negative at the very least. Maybe I'm embarrassed because I didn't do my job or something like that. Because it's inevitably going to happen. Things are going to happen. Loss is going to happen. Defeat's going to happen. Failure is going to happen. It's inevitable. It's life. But yeah, like I said, it interrupts the loop. And so every time someone responds to that email, they say, thank you. Thank you. Do you think that that calms them down a little bit? Maybe I mean, my
Sure.
theory is that it does. My
Well,
theory is that it does.
part of this whole thing too, Trevor, when we talked about doing this segment, when we plan stuff out a year at a time when we're the topic, and then we try to fill in the blanks. We didn't always do that. A lot of times we were
Yeah.
scrambling sometimes, but we finally kind of starting to figure it out after 141 episodes. I
Yeah, it's
hope
awesome.
people are still showing up.
No stress.
Um,
No stress. Very
um,
grateful.
uh, but this whole, the part of the deal is when you have that gratitude internally, externally. In other words, grateful, the sun came up, I'm breathing in and out. I'm happy. It's easy. Okay. I'm
Mhm.
grateful for that. I'm grateful for the people that I work with. I'm grateful for my partner. I'm grateful for my wife. I'm grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my neighbors. I'm grateful for those things. It becomes so much easier when we start to put out that gratitude in a planned, intentional way to our donors,
Mhm.
to our stakeholders, to our honorees, to our board members, to those, and it becomes contagious.
People that have
We
invested in
literally
your
said, and
mission.
that's why I said he's the ambassador of gratitude, because um, he is pollinated and it's grown across our entire company, and it's such a fun thing for me to sit back and see and to be a part of, um, and it can do it in yours too, and that's why it starts with you.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it breeds accountability. There's all these lovely things, discipline, maturity. I rattled off a bunch of things that are going to inevitably happen in everyone's life. I had a couple examples. I've experienced some tremendous loss, and that came with a lot of pressure. And I would literally have a conversation with myself, and I'll like listen to athletes and people that are top performers and stuff like that. I'll listen to Tony Robbins, and someone said pressure was a privilege, and I was like, wow, I didn't want to experience that loss, and I have a lot of pressure on me now, but it is a privilege. And I put myself in this position for a reason, and I was grateful for it. And it completely shifted the paradigm for me, right? I have a friend whose wife recently just got diagnosed, a young woman with colon cancer. And he told me, hey man, I'm diving into optimism, right? Heavy. He knows how I feel about things. We're friends. And he said something recently about we're going to learn a lot about our health and things like that, and maybe this is what we needed to like, they're not unhealthy people, but maybe this is what we needed to like twist the dial on taking our health seriously, this kind of. And I'm like, oh my god, like almost like I was kind of shocked, like grateful for the experience of being diagnosed with cancer and what's going to come out the other end and how this is going to change. And, I had another example where it's, we're not grateful for how these things get ushered into our lives, obviously, because sometimes it can be really, really dark, but my wife got very, very ill, uh, and had a tumor while she was carrying our daughter and had it removed the first day of her second trimester, a massive surgery and a tumor the size of a softball, removed, serious abdominal surgery. And we had not even been together for more than, 2 years at the time. And, I married my dream girl. So I'm one of the luckiest people that there are on the face of the earth. And I'm grateful for that. And I really, really, really feel that way. Jason knows how I feel about my wife. And what was interesting was it brought us all that pain, and our daughter's great. She does cartwheels at 6 o'clock in the morning now, all that stuff. But all that pain and rehab that she did, and stress, and not knowing if it was cancerous, and all these things, and the surgeries, it brought us so close together that we are completely, like, we know a different language by looking at each other. And I am so eternally grateful for that. Not the vessel, but the just how it changed our family's life. You know what I mean? And those things can really break people. And I'm aware of that. And I'm not judging if that happens, because once again, you're going to experience loss. A lot of folks that are watching this have, and there might be more coming. I don't know. But you can
Well, it's
bulletproof your
yeah.
mind. You know what I mean? For that. Yeah.
Well, I think
Yeah.
something that you just said is, these things are going to come, and that's why having gratitude even in those dark times. Beverly just said, even with all the health challenges, we can still be grateful for the health that remains.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's why having this mindset of gratitude, always being thankful, always grateful, always gracious, always having that gratitude, it becomes contagious throughout your organization.
Yep.
People are. That doesn't mean that you can't have an uncomfortable conversation. We still have to. It
Yeah.
happens. That just. But I'm grateful for the opportunity to have that relationship, that I can have that uncomfortable conversation. And and anybody that knows in our company, if I say, hey, we need to have an uncomfortable conversation, it doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's uncomfortable because I'm going to talk about it.
Hmm.
But we go through this with gratitude, and that's where, once we accept that internally, then it makes it so much easier to put out to everybody. These things like we talked about notes, handwritten note that I received,
Yeah.
means the
Means
world
so
to me.
much. Yeah.
We're actually, this is a teaser for next week.
Yeah.
We're
Wow.
going to talk
Yeah.
about this. And everything today is really setting up for next week. I'm just going to tell you, make sure
Yeah.
that you do it,
We're
sign
getting a
up.
little existential. You're getting the mind,
Yeah,
the mind of a wild man, but
yeah. But
they're
but
two
at the
wild
same
guys.
time, that's the baseline for what we're going to talk about, how we can reach out and make these things practical. Like,
Mhm.
Trevor said, every client we have, every time they do something, they get a phone call and a follow-up and a thank you.
Yeah.
Not for anything else than just to do that, just to say thank you so much. We really appreciate you letting us be a part of your mission. And I think that, um, doing those things, part of that, that comes from within. It does. It comes from a mindset of graciousness and gratitude. And I think that's where it's important because, as Patty was talking about all these things that she does, I can tell you it comes from a mindset of gratitude, not of pessimism, not of. And you can be, my wife, just to clarify, my wife is a naturally critical person. And what I mean by that is she looks at the glass half empty. I'm a half full guy. But now she'll come when she's done, she'll see that it's half full, but she starts with it. Well, where's the rest? That's just the way her mind works. And, I start with, I love everything and everything's great. And then I figure out that it's half empty. So it's just a different perspective. So if you're thinking it doesn't matter, this principle works for everybody, every personality type. I see Randall's on here, so we would say the doers, the thinkers, the feelers, and the whatever the fourth one thingy that I am, intuitors.
Yeah.
It still works.
Yep.
Um, so I just want to give you guys that practical piece because next week we are going to be talking about some very practical things that you can
Very
do
intentional.
in
Yeah.
your organization to take those actions. We got somebody, a guest that's going to be here. His name is Trevor.
David Wax.
David Wax. He's going to be here talking about.
He's going to share some very, very. I had a conversation with him yesterday on our podcast, by the way, because we're doing this big, gratitude push at the end of the year deliberately for a good reason. And I got some very interesting data about connectivity with your donors and potential donors and supporters and folks that invest in your organization, your mission. Eye-opening stuff, so cool, so practical, so easy to implement. So we're going to get into the science and mechanics of even more gratitude. And this was, yeah, like you said, to set the table for that. And like I said, an idea into the mind of Jason and Trevor for a second and how much it's meant to us. But, I was doing some really cool research over the weekend too, and listening to some performance coaches that work with teams and how much of a shift and success was derived from these NCAA teams, wrestling teams, lacrosse teams, football teams, and how they got their mindset right going into competition about not worried about the outcome, not worried about what the score is at the end of at the end of the game, at the end of the competition, at the end of 4 quarters, whatever it might be. Not worried about, because that's going to, if we do our job, that's going to take care of itself. I can't control that. I'm one person on a team. I can control what I do. I can control my mindset. And there was a massive shift that was done when the mindset was just the opportunity to compete. And it doesn't have to be about competition, but I'm a sports nerd and, competed a lot in my life and stuff like that. And it really resonated with me. It's like, not worried about the outcome, not worried about wins, not worried about losses. I equate this. Jason knows we're not in I don't care about the money. I like what we do.
We're in the world of nonprofit.
Yeah. I just, like I don't care, I don't care what the scoreboard says right now. And
Yeah.
I just love what we do. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to mix it up and the joy that comes from it and the people that we get to interact with. And this webinar is no different, but it just really, really resonated with me. It's like, tear it all down at its basic level. It's like the opportunity to compete, the opportunity to mix it up, the opportunity to do the work, coming full circle, the opportunity, when you're whatever, just starting out and you're at the bottom of the organization, or I was sweeping the floor at my parents' restaurant. I was going to be the best damn floor sweeper there was. And then I'll let the chips fall where they may, and I'll do my thing. And I was just grateful for the opportunity to get in there. You know what I mean? And everyone can do this. Everyone can articulate this in their lives, and everyone can benefit from it.
I'd put this on the same level. It just, when you're talking about this, I start thinking about, the event, the day of the day of our fundraising gala, whatever we've been working on.
We prepared,
whatever it is. We've done all the stuff that we can do.
Yep.
You can sit there and worry, gosh, I wish we'd have sold more tickets. Oh, I wish we'd have sold more tables. Wish we'd have had more underwriting. Wish we'd have done this. Wish we'd have done that. We should do this, should do that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Stop all that and just enjoy it and just be going, holy smokes, I get to do this.
Look at what we did.
Help raise money for an awesome organization.
Opportunity to meet donors and new supporters in person and shake their hand and thank them and show them how grateful you are that they came. That's the opportunity. That's not an obligation. Don't view it as an obligation. It's an opportunity over anything. This is all opportunity driven. That's the point. It's an opportunity to interact. You never know who you're talking to. You never know who your next $10,000 level donor is. That kind of stuff. It's all very, very real. Okay, I'll share an interesting story that once again I heard on I shared on a podcast with a guest that we just had recently. And she said she was at check-in and check-out, and she provides staffing for events all over the country. Big company, really, really cool people. They're called Life Event Staffing. She was at an event, and it was at a hotel, and the people were all there, and they were at their coats and the check-in, check-out, and there was a gentleman that was in the lobby of the hotel. He didn't even have a ticket to the event, and he walked up and hey, what's going on here? What are y'all doing? What are y'all raising money for? Okay, well, can I come? I can buy a ticket. Okay, cool. I'll check in. I'll come attend. He attended the next year. He was the title sponsor for the event. And I said, wow, that's a really cool story. But there's more of that can happen. If we view those things as opportunities, there's more of that's waiting to happen in the world right now than we probably realize. So, yeah.
think that's a great point, and I think it's a great place to wrap it up. Any final questions before we go? I've got
Or
a
any
winner, by
sharing.
the way,
Yeah.
so don't leave yet because I've got a winner.
Do we have
And if,
our new prize this week?
you know what, I think we ought to just break it out and just do it this
Do
week.
our
This
new
is a way
prize?
of
Okay,
giving. We're
cool.
going to give will be gratitude, and I'm really feeling gracious.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
I'm
Yeah.
feeling a lot of gratitude for those that showed up today. So
Okay,
why don't we
okay.
just give it to everybody? Can we do that?
You
We
want to
just
give something to
great.
everyone?
I want to give
Yes.
something to everyone.
This was not planned, by the way. I just want to let everybody know. It sounds like it the way we
Well, I'm
speak.
asking. I mean, you're my partner. I can't do it unless you say okay. And if you say it's not
Well,
okay,
Randall's a friend of HGA. I mean, we can give him something special.
yeah, Randall's exempt. I'm talking
Randall,
about
we're going to give you something
yeah,
special. Yeah.
yeah.
But no, good. Yeah, I'm
No,
all about. I don't
actually,
even know
so
what it is. What were you thinking?
well, are you ready?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'll shut
So
up now.
because we're in the season of gratitude,
Yes.
what we're going to do, we used to give away a small little trip that was something. So what we're going to do is give away something else. We're going to give away $500 in HGA bucks.
Nice.
HGA dollars. That means if you use one of our trips or experiences, whichever one, doesn't matter, big, little, small or tall, you get to use $500 towards it. Another obligation. So if if it's if it's 15.95, it's only going to cost you 1,095 bucks. So you made $500. So
Hmm.
I'll just give that to everybody. Can I
I
do
like
that?
it. Yeah, I like
Boom.
it. That
Everybody
sounds
gets
awesome.
500 HBA books. Very cool.
Cool, cool.
All
You
right.
can't spend it at Kohl's or on Amazon or anything like that. You know, that's the
Yeah,
only
it's only
downfall.
good
But
at HGA. That's why they call them
yeah,
HGA bucks.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But oh, I like that very much. Yeah, that's very cool. So, well, I hope that helps. And hey, I hope that also helps motivate folks to come next week as well. We're going to do another deep dive into gratitude, really getting into some data. Really, really cool guest, David
Beverly knows what
Wax.
HGA bucks are.
Yeah, all right. Well, cool. You're welcome. Oh, thank you, Calvin.
No,
Thank you,
you guys
Bev.
are
Thanks
so
everybody for coming.
welcome.
Thanks everybody for
Y'all are
sharing.
so welcome. We're so grateful to have y'all here.
Yeah,
Uh, I want to let
thanks,
you all
Patty.
know that, and I mean this truly from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot to us to get to spend this time with y'all. We know you got so many things to do, but for you all to come and spend your time here with us right now, or listening to us as a recording, spending that time, and you can listen to anything else, means a lot. Means the
It
world to
does.
us.
Yep. We're grateful and we mean it.
Patty, it was so
So
wonderful. I look forward to visiting with you again too.
right on, Patty. Thanks so much. Appreciate that. Yeah. Hey, thanks everybody for coming. If it's your first time, it's great to meet you. If you want to talk about gratitude, if you want to talk about anything fundraising, reach out to Jason at hgafundraising.com or Trevor at hgafundraising.com. Just our
You
first
go to
names,
hgafundraising.com, sign up for
free
a free
coaching. Yeah.
session.
Whatever you want.
We
Yep.
promise you
We're
there is no
available.
obligation, nothing, and we'll talk about anything in fundraising that we know. That's kind of where our place is about raising
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So anything that whether it's sponsorships, underwriting, how to get try to find some new donors. I mean, anything.
Yep.
We're here to
We're
do
here to
that.
help.
Love to do
Yep.
it.
We're here to
Love
help.
to do it.
So thanks so much. And we're grateful for the opportunity to do so. Thanks so much. We're happy to help. Everybody, thanks for coming. If we don't see you next week, enjoy the holidays. If we do see you next week, fantastic. We're looking forward to it. Same time, same channel. And we'll have a great guest on. We'll continue this gratitude conversation. Thanks, Jay, so much, brother.
Hey,
Appreciate
thanks,
you.
brother. See ya.
All
Bye,
right. Bye,
everybody.
everybody. Have a great afternoon.